Think About It Reviews. I'm your host, Dan the Man, aka Daniel's son, and we are reviewing The Babadook. And this is directed by Jennifer Kent. It is her first feature film. She's done a little short called Monster. I've heard a lot of things about this movie. It is a horror movie, but I've seen ratings on it. I haven't heard the critique on it, but I've seen the ratings, and they're giving this like 4 out of 5. It's been highly praised by critics. So I went in there and, I didn't know anything really about this film. And what I took away from it is really about a woman coping with the death of her husband, dealing with her child, who isn't the best child in the world. I'm going to be honest. Sometimes you want to smack the shit out of this kid because he's just terrible. He's like a little brat. He's a mama's boy. He's a terrible kid. But you know what? He loves his mom very much, and it shows throughout the film how he knows how to do those hallmark moments to her. Now, this whole movie pretty much takes place with her reading a book to him called The Babadook, and the Babadook is some entity, some sort, that will come and take away pretty much your life, and whoever is close to you. The book has illustrations, creepy illustrations, showcasing like what it does. It never leaves, and it never stops, honestly. And it basically torments you until it's ready to take you. Now, I went into it, and that's, like I said, I didn't know anything really about this film. Went into it, and I gotta say, I was bored. I was bored. I was like, this is boring. The first, I want to say, hour and a half was just boring. It was just really, really boring, slow. The kid was really bratty. I was like, oh my God, I do not like this kid. But there's some funny comedy moments in here, which I don't think were intentional. There's some things that made me laugh out loud. I was just really... there's a lot of scenes in here. I'm not going to ruin spoiler for you because it's not a spoiler review, but there's a lot of scenes in here that just made me laugh. Not in a good way. But the acting overall is not too bad. The kid is not too... I mean, if they're trying to portray him as a spoiled little brat who's clinging to his mom, the kid did an excellent job. The kid actually reminds me a lot of the clock something orange. Damn it. I always forget the name of that. But yeah, that guy, and maybe if he was a kid. But you know what? It just was boring. It really was boring. And when you do see the Babadook wasn't that great. What was interesting was the way they showcased him. It's not like any other horror movie where you see a lot of special effects. It definitely was different for the Babadook. And you really don't see him towards that very end. I think I did like, however, I like the madness. I love basically this woman being tortured mentally, physically. The kid being... going through the same process as well. He's being tortured mentally and physically as well from maybe other kids. These two pretty much are depressed. It's a very depressing movie. These two are very, like, I don't want to say opposite. They're dealing with the same situations, the same things, except they're very, very depressed. And I love to see these two characters really just, start coming together. You start seeing how the parallels between the two, the theme between the two, the thing about the mother and the son, and them having to deal with the loss of his father and her husband. It's been 7 years, but they still can't get over that. And also her dealing with the son and his attitude towards things, life, his excitement through all this stuff. So, I mean, that was great. The relationships between a lot of these people are great, including the neighbor was great. But, however, Babadook is just not a scary movie. It's not very scary. It looks great, but sometimes a lot of things were executed in a comical fashion where you think it's supposed to be, ooh man, I gotta lose some weight, huh? You think it's supposed to basically be serious, but I can't take it seriously because it shot it in such a way that it made me laugh. But like I said, the cinematography is really well done. The direction is well done in certain aspects of it. The writing's okay. I believe the pacing is just too much of a slow kind of beat, a slow burn. And once you hit that, once you ignite it a little bit towards the end, it still doesn't pay off. You don't feel like it's satisfied with the ending or towards the end. Well, you kind of do a little bit. That was some comical moments. Towards the end, maybe you're satisfied a little bit, but it just wasn't as a full satisfaction like I want. if you're gonna make a slow movie that takes half the time, you better have a great second half, and I don't think it delivered on that point. The acting, like I said, was fine. It was fine. I think the kid was great. You know, really tugging at your heart with all of his basically "I'll never leave you, I love you, Mom" moments. And when she goes into madness and descent, it's really nice to see that. The visionary, the visuals and stuff, were done quite nicely. It just wasn't scary at all to me. The Babadook wasn't as scary. You know, he didn't look scary. The whole premise, him trying to scare these two people, wasn't very scary. There's just too much buildup that didn't really lead to a great, satisfying ending. But overall, you know, if I give it a Babadook, I can't recommend Babadook, guys. Honestly, I just can't recommend this movie. I don't know why it's getting all this high praise. In my opinion, it just wasn't as good of a horror movie like I want to see. There hasn't been a horror movie really that has really knocked my socks off. It's really just the same kind of cliched things if you think about this film. Just they have a lot of themes and stuff going on, weaving with the characters. And that's fine, that's great. But when you're looking for horror and more suspense and more tension, and it does have somewhat of that, but it just doesn't satisfy you as it should. And I don't know why the reason that is. Maybe it's just because maybe the pacing is just a little bit off. I don't know. The tone is fine. It's just the pacing was a little bit off, and it just didn't come out as scary as I wanted it to be. So I can't recommend you guys this film. If I had to make a recommendation, I would have to recommend, I want to say scary movies. It did, you know, it reminded me of... I remember I was watching it and I was like, this just reminds me of The Shining. It reminds me of The Shining, in all honesty. If you want to see something similar to this, I mean, it's all on DVD, so you guys can check this out whenever you want. But if you don't want to see this film, and there's another film that's visually done magnificently, I can't say it's scary. It's more just kind of a thriller in my eyes, or just really just a suspenseful film, and that's The Shining, starring Jack Nicklaus. It is a great film. It really brings out, I don't want to say creep factor, but it has better visuals than this film does. And I don't blame this film. I think this film probably had a low budget. And this is Jennifer Kent's first film debut. But, you know, The Babadook is an okay movie. It's not an amazing movie. It's an okay movie. If you want to not check that out, though, go watch a movie that's been stood from a test of time, and that's The Shining. So that really dwells in to madness of it all. So that's what I got, guys. So like I said, I can't recommend Babadook, but it is out on DVD. It is out. You can go pick it up. If you want to go check it out, by all means, go check it out. It's up to you. I'm not trying to stop you. These are just my thoughts on the film. So thank you guys for listening. And once again, until next time, grab a tick, grab a seat, enjoy some good popcorn, eat. I'll see you at the cinema. Thanks, guys.